welcome back to the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel, and today I've got a Christmas card featuring some adorable images to create a fun postage stamp card. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background all stamped and ready to go. I'm going to be using the Postmarks background. I really like this one a lot. I love that it's got all these kind of like, I guess they're cancellation marks and postage marks from all over the world. I just think it's a really fun background. It kind of goes with the whole theme of my card, which is postage stamps, which I absolutely love. I think this is a versatile kind of theme or layout for a card. You can use it in many different occasions. You could, switch out the greeting and the images and create a birthday card, a Halloween card, any sort of occasion card, which I think is fun. So I just stamped down this background using some brown ink and some Desert Storm cardstock. And I already pre-cut my panel here using a die from my stash. And then once I had that all done, I went through and I pre-cut my postage stamp images, or excuse me, my postage stamp dies. This is the Postage Window A2 Die. And what it does is it creates a frame that you can definitely use, and it also creates these little postage stamps. And that's what I wanted to use in my card today. And I really love this idea, and I love these little images here. These are the holiday icons, and they are so adorable. And I think my favorite little image is the little figgy pudding. I just think he's super cute. I don't know why, but these images are super sweet. I love them. There's so many different ones that you can use for different occasions. There's even a few in there for Hanukkah, which I really think is great. And there's even just some in there for winter. So if you wanted to create a winter card instead of a Christmas card per se, you definitely have the images in there to do that as well. So I went through and I found the images that I wanted to use today, and I wanted to stamp those all down at once. And I'm going to be using some Copic friendly ink because I do plan on using my Copic markers to color in all of these sweet little images today. And I also have a sticky mat underneath the little postage stamps just to help hold them in place, and that way I can stamp them all together at once. Just wanted to make sure I got that Santa lined back up because my little postage stamp die moved out of the way. And once I have this all ready, I am, like I said, going to be using some Copic friendly ink. And because these are new stamps for me, I did kind of rub my hands on them to kind of get the oils on there, just to kind of help condition them a little bit so that they stamp a little bit nicer. I am using some Copic friendly paper as well, and I'm going to get these all stamped down. And I had to stamp them just a couple of times just to get a really good impression. I wanted the outlines and the little eyes and everything to really stand out and be nice and bold. Kind of goes along with the cartoony aspect of these images. Once I have that all stamped down, I am going to get right into my coloring. Like I mentioned, I will be using my Copic markers. All of the colors that I use will be listed on the screen if you're interested in following along with my color choices. I am going to put on a little bit of music for you to enjoy while I color, and we'll catch up when I'm all done. once I was finished with all the coloring, I decided to go in and add some finishing details to these little images. This is definitely optional. You don't have to do this, but I really feel like it dresses up the images, makes them a little bit more fun and whimsical, goes along with the artistry behind all of these images. So I'm just taking a white Jelly Roll pen, adding some highlight details here and there. I don't really follow any kind of light sourcing patterns or anything like that. I just kind of go with what I feel looks the best and what I feel really makes the images shine. I really do love the artistry behind these images. They are super sweet and cute. I really think that they are adorable. They remind me of some of the little characters and cartoons that my little boys love, and I just fell in love with them. Next, I'm going to go in and add a little bit of shimmer and shine using an aqua shimmer pen. Again, these steps are definitely optional. These images shine all on their own, but I felt like adding them. I feel like it really dresses them up. Once I was happy with that, I wanted to go in and add just a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more placed, I guess. So I went in with a Stardust glitter pen. This is probably one of my favorite little pens to use during the holidays. I know it's not the holidays yet, and I know I miss Christmas in July, but I just had to share this card. It was so fun to create and super cute, and I really feel like this design could be utilized in many different occasions. Going to add a little bit more of that shine to these images, and then the last thing I'm going to do to kind of finish these up is I went in with a black Jelly Roll pen and added a little bit of highlight to their little eyes and let those sit off to the side to dry. Next, I'm going to work on my main greeting. I am going to be using the Bold ABC die set, and I just die cut this out of some red cardstock, and I did it 3 times for each of those. You can see that there's only 2 Ys there because I dropped it on the floor and I couldn't find it anywhere. So you're going to see here that I'm just stacking these up on top of each other to create a nice fun dimensional die cut. This is one of my favorite ways to create dimension when it comes to dies. You definitely don't have to do this. You could just use some foam adhesive. These letters are chunky enough that you could easily cut it out and it won't be super time consuming. But for me, I just personally like doing it this way. It helps use up some scraps that I might have that might be too small to use for any other kind of project. So it's a really good way to utilize any scraps. Once I was happy with these, I went ahead and set those off to the side to dry as well. And I wanted to work on my secondary greeting, which is just going to say the word Christmas. And I pulled this sentiment from the vintage Poinsettia set. I really like the font of this. I really felt like it went really well with the chunky letters. I didn't want to do anything super scripty. I wanted it to be kind of matchy, so I did pull that out, and I am only going to stamp the word Christmas. You could easily cut your stamps apart. I have done that in the past. Today I didn't really feel like it, so I just decided to kind of mask off the Merry part and just stamp the Christmas. I did use some sticky ink, and I'm going to use some white embossing powder to heat emboss this today. I really felt like the black kind of gave it a little bit of interest, and it went back into the black outlines of the images. I really like to color coordinate things and kind of get them to all match. That's why I like to pull in different colors and get everything to look really cohesive. So once I hit that with my heat gun, I got that all nice and melted. I am going to cut this out. It doesn't have any matching dies. You could easily use a banner die or a paper trimmer or anything like that, but this was just as quick and easy, and I wanted to have a little bit of a closer border around my word here. So I just went in with my scissors and just easily cut around this. It was super easy. You can see here it took me no time at all. Again, you could definitely use a banner die if you're not into fussy cutting, but I wanted to have a nice close border around my word. Now that I have all of the elements ready for the card, we can go ahead and get it ready. So I am using that same red cardstock that I used earlier for my words to do my card base. This is going to be a top folding A2 sized card base. Top folding cards are just my preferred way. You could definitely do a side fold, you could do landscape, anything like that. And then I'm just going to adhere everything down using some liquid adhesive from Nouveau. I always make sure that I get the corners really well because those are always the areas that like to lift on my cards. So I always make sure I do those first so I get a lot of nice adhesive. And I really love this craft on the red. And I also cut a panel for the inside of my card. You don't necessarily have to do this. You could easily just use like a white gel pen or a black pen to write your greeting on the inside of the card. But I decided I wanted to use white because I wanted to use this wonderful greeting from this new stamp set, the Santa at the Door. This was from the Christmas in July release, and it says, "May the magic of the season find its way to you," which I thought was really, really fun, and it really went with the whole postage stamp theme I've got going on. Sending magic towards you, it's mail, you guys get it. So I got that stamped down using just some black ink, and I was really surprised that I got that stamped perfectly the first time. I really have a hard time sometimes using acrylic blocks and stamping greetings, but it actually worked out really well. So I got that adhered down to the inside of the card, and now I can get to arranging my card itself. So I definitely wanted the Mary to be front and center, right across the center of this card. And then I wanted to fill in around it using the little postage stamp. So you can see here kind of what my thought process is. I don't end up using all of the little stamps, but you could definitely make multiple cards. There are so many images in here that you could definitely make more than one card. I did end up using a couple on the inside of the card. I did adhere those after I had everything filmed and pictures taken, all of that. I had went in afterwards and added a couple of those images to the inside of the card. Next, I'm using this nice T-shaped ruler to make sure I get my Mary word nice and straight. I want to make sure that everything is very, level and straight. That's kind of one of my pet peeves, especially when it comes to like font like this. It doesn't really lend itself to being very whimsical, but you could, if you wanted to, you could make it, a little juxtaposed, but I really just wanted to do it nice and straight. So I did the M and the Y first, so I know that I had my spacing correct, and I did end up dropping that E, but in the end you don't even really notice it once it dries, so I lucked out on that. And then that way, I said that I had the M and the Y adhered down first. That way I got my spacing right. I always have a hard time with that, getting my spacing right, but this time it worked out really, really well. I was really pleased with it. And then I'm going to take the Christmas portion of my greeting and I am going to pop it up with some foam strips. Again, you could adhere it down if you're not into the whole dimension thing. You could definitely make this a one-layer card. Adhere everything nice and flat. It would be really easy to mail. This one's not super chunky, I guess. It doesn't have a super ton of dimensions, so it will still mail very nicely. What I did was I went through and I added some home adhesive to the backs of each of my little postage stamps here, just to save a little bit of time in the video. And now that I've got them where I'd like them, I'm just going to peel that adhesive backing away and just pop them on here. And I didn't want them to be perfectly straight. I wanted them to be kind of haphazard, kind of be opposite of what the greeting is, to add in some whimsy, which kind of goes with, the whimsy stamps, which I think is fun. I just adore these little images. I think they are just so cute, and I could definitely see like a whole background being done with these. They're just super sweet. Now that I have that done, I am going to add a little bit of shimmer and shine to the greeting. I really love doing this with kind of chunky die cut letters. I really feel like it makes them look dimensional in a way. I already know that I added dimension, but I really feel like this jazzes them up a little bit more. I really wanted to match with the whimsy they already have going on in the images. So I added that glitter, and then I went over it again with a white gel pen, and I went and added like highlights. So this kind of adds to that effect that it looks three-dimensional. You could, if you really wanted to, you could add like a glossy accents or a clear glaze or anything like that over the top of this to actually make it into a dimensional greeting, which again is completely optional. You can leave all of this out and just leave it the way it is. It's wonderful as is, but again, I like to be extra and just jazz things up. Now that that's all done, I'm going to go in with these little clay snowflakes just to add a little bit of fun in the background. It is a Christmas card, and you can never go wrong with snowflakes. And these are my favorite. I've used them almost all up. I think I only have like big ones left, so I kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel to find these little ones, and I love adding them to the greeting as well. Kind of adds it in as a part of the scene. Once I'm happy with those, I am going to go in with one last thing, just because, again, I'm extra, and you can definitely leave this out as well. I'm going to go in with some Nouveau crystal drops in Morning Dew and add a little bit of dimension to the little berries, on all of the little greenery. I'm going to add it to the reindeer's nose and to the snowman's nose as well, and that will finish up this card for today. Again, I really appreciate you guys coming by the Whimsy Stamp YouTube channel and taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, please consider hitting that like button as well as the subscribe and that little notification bell so you're notified every time that a video is uploaded to the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel. All of the products that I used today are listed in the description below, and I'll catch up with you guys again real soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.